All right, so who's completely in charge of this household? The nanny, you got it right. And this afternoon, I had so much to do. Kill myself. But we did promise that we'd show up at the Space Research Center today. The kids had forgotten all about it, and so had I. They were about to go swimming, and I wasn't popular for bringing it up. But we promised. Lara's foster parents kind of arranged it for us out there. They are running the center, and they pulled some strings and prepared, made sure the lab was relatively quiet today, so even though they canceled the last time, we should go. Top security area. I had to preach a little manners and respect, and I once again didn't get popular doing that either. We get in there, and Lara knows the place pretty well, and they tell us how they had to cancel our last visit because the lab was busy. And it turns out they found something in the mountains. It was brought in by the locals, and everybody believes it's a UFO. Which it isn't. It's a pod from the Juliana spaceship, a flying toy factory, and you use it to move equipment around, and food and toys and presents. It's basically a flying forklift. But it's got an engine and a few parts here and there which are made a little differently. And that is, of course, of great interest to the Space Research Center. Nobody had figured out how to start it up yet because the switch is on the back, and there's never been an alien inside that cockpit. But of course, if you are thinking of your own foster child as a resource of know-how, and if you're running a space center, you're very much into your work, you might end up alienating your own foster child from the rest of the world. So the kids wisely kept their mouths shut about the pod. They even signed papers claiming that they knew nothing. And Lara wasn't in a very good mood that day. I think she loved her foster parents very much, but she also knew that the discovery of the pod was something that would really boost their careers, and that the normal upbringing that she'd been looking forward to was now gone. If she was going to be living so close to them, so close to this thing, she'd be obligated to help them out in one way or another. So I called Raven, and she called Craig, who was at the Kilimanjaro airport, painting the band plane, the Boeing 747, where we've got the transmitter. And she went to have a word with the wise old man with the long beard about the Juliana, which was now floating somewhere in space, gathering raw materials for Christmas presents. She then tried to ask him what we should do with Lara's foster parents and the discovery of the pod. And apparently in the middle of the conversation, they lost contact. Raven was left with half an answer and the complete authority to improvise, as always, because she's his foster child. And in a situation like this, there's nothing else she can do. So she goes to the Space Research Center and shows them everything. She tells them how to start it up. She shows them the parts that are unusual. She once designed this thing, so she knows what's what. And then she made sure that Lara had a free choice between either staying with her current foster family or staying with Raven and Troy, which is basically High Rising Records, Douglas Walker and Ms. Box, and the house in Scandinavia. So Lara, who was so kind to facilitate everything here at the Mango Lagoon and took responsibility many times when her two friends didn't always know what to do, actually ended up facing the hardest choice. She could relive the challenges of her past through her foster parents' work, or by staying near Raven and Troy and paid for caretakers like me who are still supporting, through the music, the gathering of people from the past and Juliana crew members of the future. If she wants to break completely free of all this, she has to get rid of not only her foster parents, but also me and Raven and Troy. Which is why these kids are probably going home soon. And when the kids leave, I'll be out of a job. I'll have nothing, for a while at least. So I don't really know where to go from here. I mean, first of all, we were doing this for the kids, so that they could get on with life and escape an exile that they didn't choose. What about our own exile? Do you get a boyfriend and Every time you lay down beside him and look at the stars, you're supposed to say, "Oh yeah, what a big question. It's really so mysterious what's out there." And what if you meet someone trying to make their way in the music industry and they're really trying hard and you end up opening a few doors for them because you know Raven and Troy and producers like Douglas Walker? Do you then walk that entire path with them once again? I sometimes look at the old businessmen and women in the streets downtown, and I often think, man, if you really wanted to disappear, this would be the perfect place. I'm still having trouble sometimes remembering what I used to do. I can't remember my friends from school very well, things like that. If any of you find this notebook, family or friends, I want you to know that I love you very much, and I hold nothing against you. I used to think that time here would be very difficult, but now it doesn't matter so much.